there! Have you subscribed to our channel yet? Invite your friends and search for CSLGH.
reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season. Love light shining all around us. Let the feeling grab you deep inside, send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the midnight light with your love. Well, let your love flow like a mountain stream. Just let your love grow. The smallest of dreams, let your love show. Know what I mean? Yeah, it's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on the wing. Let your love bind you to all living things. Let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. Yeah, that's the reason. Oh, let your love fly like a bird on the wing. Let your love bind you to all living things. Let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Ah, let your love shine. Oh yeah, that's the reason. You might be saved, might be reborn. You might own a car with a big loud horn. Maybe it's just the news on your television, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Are you an engineer or working on a farm, or a Casanova with a whole lot of charm? It might be a mouse living in your kitchen, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be in the church house, or it might be on the street. One way or another, every soul has got to meet. Yeah, it might be in the city, might be in the town. One way or another, you're gonna find that higher ground. It might sound bad, might sound good. It might be made of steel, might be made of wood. Maybe it's just the news on your television. Might be God trying to get your attention. You might be deaf, you might be blind. She'll put the message right in your mind. Might look like a plan or a coalition, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Now listen to the birds, listen to the trees, listen to the river, listen to the sea, listen to the mountain, listen to the land, listen to the woman, listen to the man. It might be a mouse living in your kitchen, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Said it might be God trying to get your attention.
Now that would be the fabulous Teresa James. Yay. I love it when you tell a story in your songs. Always gets me. Good morning. How's everybody? Did you come for the air conditioning this morning? Yeah. Yeah. I think I turned it off before I left because I'm going to be gone for a little bit today, but it doesn't take long to cool off the house once it gets started. I want you to know that I am here this morning as the guest speaker. I haven't been here for a minute. I've been, well, that's another story. My name is Maureen Hoyt, if you're here for the first time, and the dog might know me. Hi, Leslie, nice to see you. This center is a center who honors all who are on their spiritual pathway, who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And what I know about Granada Hills is that for many people, it's been a soft place to land. And we are here in service to you, the congregation, in ways known and unknown. And so I want to welcome you this morning and welcome everybody on the live stream today. Our call to service at the center is called Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from that one great spiritual presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. I almost said Reverend Wayne. As Wayne lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths as the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them at this center and in our hearts. And as Wayne lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
Please join me in this opening treatment, and I invite you to close your eyes if you wish as we go within. And I know that God is that light, that place of oneness, a place of wonder, that God is I am. And I know this service unfolds in a perfect order. I know that I am always divinely guided. I know the highest truth is love, light, peace, and harmony. And I know this center is a beacon of light. And I know that with God, all things are possible. And with joy and gratitude, I give thanks for this center, and I just release these words to the Lord, knowing it is all complete and done. And together we say, and so it is. Well, I'm a caregiver for my partner, and every Thursday I drive him over to his dance class called Dance Through Parkinson's. This class is more focused on movement and the brain-body connection. Now, each year, this organization that teaches dance has a dance recital for all students, all classes, and all levels of skills. We both were invited to be part of the dance recital this year. And I could give you a list of what I am not. Instead, I'm going to talk about fear and resistance. Now, some of you may have heard the word fear as false evidence appearing real. But let's rearrange those around. Fear is also faith eliminates all resistance. Resistance appears whenever I mentally struggle against what is happening, fear what might happen, or try to attempt to control how life must unfold. If I tighten my grip, it is because somewhere within me I have forgotten that there is a power greater than myself already at work. Faith changes this. Faith is a spiritual conviction that no circumstance is greater than the presence of God within me. Ernest Holmes says, faith looks to the invisible, and instead of seeing a void, it fastens its gaze upon a solid reality. Faith is not hope, it is substance. I have also learned from these many years of Science of Mind teachings that I have a great foundation that supports me. With God, all things are possible. And with faith as my building blocks, I know I have a strong foundation, and I can let go of resistance and focus on what I want. So as I was writing this talk on Saturday, I decided to give a declaration that I release this fear and any resistance, and today I declare that I choose to support my partner, have fun, and invite divine flow and trust the process as it unfolds. I know as faith becomes established in my consciousness, things begin to shift. Anyone can tap into this faith. As we let go of fear, false evidence appearing real, we witness God in action as faith eliminates all resistance. With faith, we stop fighting life and begin dancing with it. Fear gives way to expectancy. Anxiety gives way to peace. Control gives way to trust. And to you, love, peace, and joy. And so it is.
This is the song that presented itself to me today, so I hope it works for you guys. Alarm clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor. It's off to the races, everybody out the door. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind. It's a crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can, trying to push a little harder, wanna get the upper hand. So much to do in so little time. It's a crazy life. Well, it's ready, set, go. It's another wild day when the stress is on the rise. In my heart I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and just be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is just breathe. Third cup of coffee just to get me through the day. Wanna make the most of time, but I feel it slip away. I wonder if there's something more to this crazy life. Yeah, I'm busy, 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 and it's no surprise to me that I only have time for me, me, me. There's gotta be something more to this crazy life. And I'm hanging on tight to another wild day when it starts to fall apart. In my heart I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and just be, just be. Chaos calls, all you really need is take it all in, fill your house. Peace of God that overcomes, just breathe, breathe. Let your weary spirit rest, lay down what's good and be what's best. Just breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and just be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is just breathe.
Announcements. Practitioners are available today in the treatment room for a complimentary 2-minute affirmative prayer. And we have several practitioners in here today. And if those online, you can also find a practitioner at cslgh.org. Gentle reminder, please call, turn off your cell phones and place your phone on silent during this service. Thank you. We have also reopened the Raise the Roof fundraiser. We are thankful to those who have already participated, and we thank those in advance who wish to donate now as we seek additional funds to complete a more extensive roof repair. Please assist us with getting the roof funds allocated correctly. For office clarity, please label and make donations for the roof separate from your Sunday donations. We are not mind readers. You can check, just write tithe or roof. You could also make your check to the fundraiser on the Facebook page and share that link if you would like. This Wednesday, August 26th at 7 p.m., the Science of Mind discussion group joined Dr. Maureen Hoyt and Myrna as they lead an open forum discussion complete with readings, questions, and answers. Donations accepted at the door. Thursday, August 27th at 6:55, SUM will hold their full moon celebration here at our sanctuary. This month features the Sturgeon Moon. Join us with Reverend Sherry Hersey and Rick Cowling as the guest speakers and musicians. Also coming up, Saturday, October 17th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., the annual Granada Hills Street Fair will take place. The center will have a booth. As we do each year, there's an early bird volunteer sign-up sheet that is posted in Sparks Hall. Come offer your time and talent at the booth while we make new community friends and share the blessings of our center. And now the gratitude box. We'll have Chloe share with us.
And this time would be James picked this out. It says, I am thankful for the
ever-present wonder that inspires curiosity and spurs love. Thank you, Chloe. And please stand for the Declaration of Principles. And those online can join us. And together, we believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanded. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
Now sing with me now. Heaven's inside of me. Heaven's inside of me. Oh, with spirit and nature, within and without. Now that I know that God's right here, right now. Heaven's inside of me. Heaven's inside of you. Heaven's inside of you. Oh, with spirit and nature, within and without. Now that I know that God's right here, right now. Heaven's inside of you. Heaven's inside of us. Heaven's inside of us. Yeah, with spirit and nature, within and without. Now that I know that God's right here, right now. Heaven's inside of us. Heaven's inside of us. Heaven's inside of us.
All right. Finally, the bride's side filled up a little bit. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Thank you, Teresa. You know, I think in another life I must have been a really good singer. But this life, not so much. Not so much. So when you see me moving my lips, it's my Milli Vanilli imitation up here. They pay me not to sing. For those who are new, I'm the former minister here. I was here from 1995 to 2009. And I was ordained in the late 90s, and I received both Doctorate of Religious Science and Doctor of Divinity from the Center for Spiritual Living. I started my journey in 1973 at Founders Church. And when I think back on it, those years pass so quickly. You know, sunrise, sunset, quickly flow the years. It seems like yesterday, and there you go, here I am. The talk title for today is Show Me the Money, but I got distracted a little bit. I had written a talk having to do with the furious and the fear, and then when I experienced the death of someone very near and dear to me this week, Reverend Edwene Gaines. Look at that face. What's not to love with that face? And her Tammy Faye Baker hairdo. She is from the South, and she spoke with a Southern accent. And behind her name, she had a degree, MSU. And one day I was at a conference where I got to sit next to her, and I asked her what MSU stood for, and she started laughing. And the speaker probably wondered what she was laughing at because he wasn't really funny. And she whispered in my ear, she said, "You're one of the first people to ever ask me." And I said, "Well, what does it stand for?" And she said, "Make stuff up." And she never went to university or college, but she had a degree in making stuff up. And so I loved it, you know, I just loved it. Her name is Edwene Gaines, and she's a Unity minister. Wherever she is in the great beyond, I'm sure she's still ministering to people. And actually, she was, some of you may know her name. Some of you might have taken her classes through the years. Some of you might have read her books. She has 2 books, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, A Guide to Simple Abundance, and a new book that's just brand new and just been released, How to Become Debt-Free, Forgive. So I read that as How to Become Debt-Free, and I thought, I wonder why that bothers me so much. I want to be financially free. I don't care, I have no debt, but I would like to not just get by or make do. Anyway, while you might sense this new book is about money, it is really a prosperity at a much deeper level. Instead, it is the way we can take her 4 spiritual laws further in our lives. And it's the equivalent to, some of you might know the name Catherine Ponder. She was a prolific writer in the Unity movement. And a few years ago, I was assigned to write her obituary. Well, she had the audacity not to die, and she's still alive. And so I don't know if it'll ever get published, but interestingly enough, her book called Prosperity Law of Increase is very similar to the book that Edwene Gaines wrote. But Willa Cather, the most famous American author, said there are only 3 stories in all of creation, and they're just variations on the same theme. So I guess it doesn't matter. It isn't plagiarism, even if it's a similar story to someone else. Anyway, the monthly theme for the organization was the fear and the furious. And when I began to think along the line of the fear and furious responses that have come up for me this past year, when I heard of Reverend Edwene's passing, that talk went flying out the window. So I had to reorient my thinking when I found out that she had passed away. The contemplative question the writers of the talk notes asked is how can we transform our anger into compassionate action for collective good? You know, when we're in the middle of our anger, that's impossible. We can't do that. But we have to deal with the anger at some level. Reverend Ed Wein changed my life. I'm just going to say that. It was 1984. I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 children and an ungenerous husband. He's still ungenerous. When our daughter was little and before she went to preschool, I sold Princess House crystal in the evenings. I carried these suitcases full of lead crystal all over the Conejo Valley, and my best customers were in Moore Park. The Spanish people or Mexican people or South American or Central American people have this thing about, what do they call it? When you get ready to get married, you collect all this stuff and you have a, not a dowry. That would be good though, that would be good. You have set aside for the possibility of getting married. Well, these women brought me into their lives, and my whole business was in and around the Moore Park area. And even though I was young and healthy in those years and very fit, hauling those cases around became a chore, and my body felt like giving up. I sold a lot, I made a lot of money, but after taking Ed Wein's class in Simi Valley at the Church of Religious Science, she said, if you do what you love to do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. If you do what you love to do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. I don't know if I put that slide up there. Nope, I didn't. Back. Okay, so mind you, I was making about $400 a week in those days. And that was a good living, you know. $1,600 a month was not a bad living. It was more I could make going into an office somewhere. So, and I also had the days to be with my children. I went back to office work shortly after the prosperity class that I attended with her. And she taught me about tithing. She taught me the benefits of tithing. She taught me how to use money as God in action, as Raymond Charles Barker would say. And I've been doing this, you know, I've been doing this since probably the 80s. I loved being a mom, staying at home with my children, but I also knew that once they got to be a certain age, it was time for me to go and get a full-time job. About 2 months ago, I digress for a minute here, I went back to watching the news. I had sort of stayed away from it for a little while. Angry at what I was watching and feeling frustrated, sad, and sorry that my contentment was sorely disturbed. And what I said is, my desire to be informed gets in the way of my contentment and peace of mind. And yet, there's still part of me that needs to be informed. And to be informed means that I get to do something about what might be going on. But for a long time, my focus of attention has been the center. During Mike's illness, I was here pretty much full time. And if the truth were known, I engaged in a bit of anger about having to seek a new minister. Oh, my goodness, but a silver bullet. Like most of us, I wanted Reverend Mike to stay. And when he wasn't going to stay, I wanted to get used to the idea before his leaving, the idea of his leaving before I allowed him to leave. Well, that didn't work either. You know, I was trying to outline how it should show up. If you've been around these past 10 years and heard me speak, you've heard my favorite quote. Anger changes nothing in the physical reality. It's only a catalyst for change. I mean, seriously, anger has a purpose in our lives. Walter Stark, he talked about it in his book, It's All God. He said anger is a very important emotion because it means that something has to change. But I'm the one who can change it. I woke up one Monday morning feeling like my head was going to explode. My blood sugar was extremely high. My blood pressure was off the charts. I called my daughter to come and take me to the ER, and she was a far distance from where I live. So she called 911. Never can I ever say I've never ridden in an ambulance, because they took me to the ER in an ambulance. You get preferential treatment when you get in there with an ambulance. I mean, it's kind of nice, actually. And I tell you this story not to elicit a sympathetic response, but to tell you that sometimes good religious scientists have feet of clay. And that song, Breathe, that was the most important part of what was going on for me. I kept forgetting to breathe. You know, the body needs to be oxygenated. And I was experiencing fear, false evidence appearing real. Thanks, Wayne, for writing my talk today. And I was furious because I might have to admit that I can't do it all. You know, that's the thing about being in service sometimes. We think we have to do it all. Well, what I learned is that we cannot be in fear and be spiritual. We cannot be furious and be spiritual, because being in fear or being furious is a lifetime experience. Now, we can feel fearful and be spiritual. We can feel angry and be spiritual, because feeling fearful or feeling angry has a beginning and an end. There's quite a difference in the connotation. Being something or feeling something are two different things. We can, as Eckhart Tolle says, feel all kinds of emotions and know that there is the possibility of an end if we are willing to investigate the source of these feelings. And some of those feelings, as Walter Starkey said in It's All God, we may think it's not godly to feel angry. But the anger is a catalyst for change. And sometimes Spirit doesn't tap us on the shoulder, it's a brick upside the head. Some of us have experienced that. Anger gets a bad rap. And what if it holds a sacred spark? What if it is God trying to give us a message that something has to be adjusted or changed or fixed in our lives? How can we transform our anger into compassionate action for the collective good, not just for ourselves, but for everyone in our circle of influence? You know, because there are a lot of us out there who are experiencing some kind of fear right now. I'm just going to say fear, because there are a lot of different ways to feel fear. When I decided to start my daycare all those years ago, it was because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be a person who could do what they loved, as Edwene said. I also started a craft business, which I dearly loved doing. It was called Maureen's Bleeding Fingers Boutique. And when someone asked me one time, well, what do you do in your boutique? And I said, arts and crafts. And she said, oh, thank God, I'm glad you're not a manicurist, she said. Anyway, it was kind of funny at the time. It's still funny. So I gave that up when I was offered this job in 1995. Growing up a good Catholic girl, my generation was never really allowed to express anger in any way, shape, or form. People here today of a certain age may relate. The result of suppressing anger is that it is frequently locked away and denied until it isn't. Until it isn't. And sometimes it comes out so inappropriately that shame takes its place for a little while. Anger that serves as like a flame. It is forward moving, and it is bright. When it is acknowledged, it dissipates quite quickly, Sometimes it's as simple as saying, I feel angry. Wow, those words going out into the ethers dissipate, and we can start from a different perspective. The heart wants to know why we feel angry. So Tolle says, investigate it. Every time we feel, we experience errant behavior, or we feel angry or sad or scared about anything, he says investigate it. See where that comes from. Don't just let it sit there and fester. He said look into it and see if we can find out what's really going on. Some of us learned very late in life how to channel our errant emotions, but it's never too late to have a happy childhood. There are hundreds and hundreds of people out there who could create mass gatherings of unexpressed feelings and unmet needs, and that's a whole other talk, both intergenerational and on the individual basis. Spousal abuse is one of the byproducts of unaddressed anger. All those ICE agents are probably doing that job because of their unaddressed anger. The people who stormed the Capitol might have done so because they didn't have a healthy outlet for their anger. Now, I'm not saying this to be political. I'm saying that this is really a fact of life where psychologists have really interpreted this unaddressed anger. The affirmation for today is wonderful. I channel my anger in meaningful, courageous action. I love that. I love that. Who is here today to channel their anger into something creative and courageous? Yeah, everybody should be putting their hands up. I'll put both mine up. I'll put both mine up. You know, I'm going to totally switch gears here. I've talked enough about that. I'm going to raise the peace and tranquility level to possibility thinking. The actual title for today's talk is Show Me the Money, and I really enjoy talking about money. It's brilliant. I remember talking about life, and it was amazing. And Reverend Ike, my very favorite guy of the 60s and 70s and 80s, he said the best thing that we can do for poor people is not to be one. And you know, I look at that from that perspective, right? He was right. When Reverend Mike was out sick a couple of years ago, we had a bit of a downturn in our congregational giving, and the Board of Trustees got a little antsy around it. Our stewards, they are our stewards of the church's money for sure, and they were feeling a little anxious. Well, Reverend Nancy and I decided we would vision for the prosperity and the financial abundance of the church. And we agreed to continue paying Reverend Mike his salary while he was out sick, because we wanted this challenging time for his body not to affect the body of his affairs, his life. So we paid him. So money always comes to us from expected and unexpected avenues. You know, and I say it this way because Dr. Keith slapped me around a little bit around my saying that money comes to us from unexpected sources, because there's only one source. God is my source. God is the source and substance of my supply. So Keith, our consciousness of financial abundance, kept everything afloat for the whole time that Reverend Mike was out. Now, these are the ways in which it happened. One church member's spouse passed away, and she inherited his home. And when her husband's home was sold, she tithed on the sale of the house after the deduction of what was left on the mortgage. We received a very generous check from her, not in the offering basket on Sunday morning, but given separately. Then when a church member became ill, one of our practitioners, she changed her will to have her former minister be the recipient of the proceeds of the sale of her house, with the designation that 10% of that sale would come to the church. It didn't show up in the offering basket on Sunday morning. Neither of these checks showed up in the offering basket, as I said. But both of those checks, both of those gifts, kept us in the black for 2024 and 2025. You know, it's not necessarily what comes in the basket, but what comes as what we would call a surprise in the mail. And I tell you this to let you know that close to half of our income doesn't find its way to the offering basket on Sunday morning anymore. Most people use bill pay, automatic deductions, PayPal, or Zelle to make their contributions. And while I know that's convenient, I still write my check every Sunday because I like that energy to come through me. The baskets often look a tad puny on Sundays, but that doesn't mean that you aren't contributing. You are giving in grand and glorious ways. You give your time, your talent, and your treasure for the fullness of life and the continued prosperity of this beautiful center. When I started in 1995, I was hired at $2,500 a month. I defy anyone to live on $2,500 a month these days. However, I inherited $42,000 from my best friend and my daughter's godmother when she took her own life. I didn't know she had a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. But I got this call from her attorney one day saying, you need to come for the reading of the will. And I said, what am I going to get, a TV and a computer and maybe some jewelry? And she said, you might be surprised. Well, needless to say, I was surprised. Ruth always thought she would be a bag lady. So every house I've ever lived in, she has a space in it. She has a space, a Ruth space. And I got to buy the condo down at Woodley and Chatsworth with that money. But I also got to tithe on that $42,000. Up to that point, it was the biggest check I ever wrote. The biggest check, not including the first car that I had purchased. When I first started here, Heather was about 18, I think, and she asked me one day, she said, Mom, how do you get paid at church? I said, well, from the contributions that come in on Sunday. She looked at me with horror on her face, and she goes, well, what if people don't put anything in the basket? Then I don't get paid, I said. And she thought that was just the worst thing she'd ever heard. I have never not been paid at this center. Reverend Mike has never not been paid at this center. This is about you. This is, not only are we a super center, but we have super supporters at this center. This is amazing. This is amazing. Again, money comes in, money goes out. This is the beauty of your personal giving consciousness of your spiritual home in a way that other centers have not experienced. Other centers have not experienced. One of the greatest books in recent years about money is called The Energy of Money by Maureen Hoyt. Dr. Maureen Hoyt is a PhD in psychology, and she blended spirituality and the energy of money from an ontological level. And she said, what becomes possible when we finally stop letting an unconscious relationship with money make our decisions for us. What indeed? I was raised by Depression-era parents, but I never wanted for anything. I didn't know that when Mom made us French fries for dinner and we all jumped for joy, it wasn't necessarily to make us happy. It was because that's all that was left in the pantry. I didn't know that. When Dad took us on a drive after church out to Tata Creek to Ev's store to get an ice cream cone, it was because he had an extra 30 cents in his pocket. 1 cone for Mom, 1 cone for Dad, and 4 cones for the kids. We thought we were richer than rich. Yes, sometimes we had to wear shoes that were outgrown, but then there were hand-me-downs, and we wore them gladly. My brother and one of my sisters got the poverty gene. Who knew them? My sister Jen got the get-by gene, and I got the prosperity gene. And it has been held in good stead my whole life. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "Does the thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is not selfish. It is God, speaking to God and God listening to God." Even though the news can be dire, let's stop looking at what we don't have and look at what we do have: a roof over our heads, food in our stomachs, clothes on our backs. And as a spirit and a spiritual home with a new senior minister who is ready, willing, and able to love us enough to see us prosper in myriad and beautiful ways. We are prosperous beyond measure. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, 1 minute of anger robs us of 60 seconds of happiness. Being angry about anything keeps us from living a superlative life experience. And Ernest Holmes said, always expect the best. And the Buddhists say, expect everything, expect nothing, be prepared for everything. Feeling angry for a few minutes can affect change, and each one of us is in charge of the result. So what I say to you this morning, God bless you, Reverend Edwin Gaines. You changed my life and the lives of everyone who ever entered your energy field. Thank you for being my teacher. Thich Nhat Hanh said, people usually consider walking on water or in thin air a miracle. But I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or on thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle, which we don't even recognize: a blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black, curious eyes of a child. You know, the one thing I know for sure, there is enough because we are enough, knowing that with God, all things are possible. Will you join me in consciousness, please? And know with me right here and right now that the inevitable consequence of being in the science of mind, being a religious scientist, is that we go out into our world and prove that we have learned the lessons of this teaching. We have learned about the law of attraction. We have learned about the law of correspondence. We have learned all the laws we need to know in order to live that best life experience, that superlative life experience that Ernest Holmes talks about. Every day is a gift. Every moment is a gift sometimes. So as we breathe into it, as Teresa's song suggested, we breathe deeply and often, because that oxygen that we inhale is what keeps us alive, that keeps us burning with desire to be more, to do more, maybe to have more even, but so that we can share that more with others who do not have temporarily, and know that the gifts that we give are appreciated beyond measure. And so today, the fear and the furious takes a back seat to what demands our attention, and that is being in truth, being compassionate, being understanding, and knowing truly that God is all there is. That as I know this for myself, I know it for each and every person here today. As I joyfully receive and give thanks, I release my word to the law of mind, knowing it is done and complete in the mind of God, as we say together, and so it is.
Surrender. Let it go. surrender. Let it all go. All the fears and the doubt, all the pain, all the wounds, feelings of being outside. Surrender. Let it go. Surrender. Let it all go. All the anger and guilt, all the blame, surrender. Let it go. Don't you know God is here? Don't you know God is here? Just let it go. Surrender. Let it go. Surrender. Let it all go. Open your heart. Let in the light. Oh, let it go. Surrender. Let it go. Surrender. Let it all go.
Oh, Teresa. Sometimes, letting go is not an easy thing. My friend Eric Hodges used to say there wasn't anything he ever let go of that didn't have claw marks on it. And a lot of times that's true for many of us. That's true for many of us. This is our time of conscious giving. Chloe, if you'll bring the basket up for us this morning. And I don't know, do we have the affirmation? Thank you. Of course you're on it. You guys are always on it. We have the best sound team in the whole of all our churches, everywhere. Yes, we do. And we have the best sound equipment. I listen to a lot of other churches, and their talks are well received and well put out there, but when it comes to their music, a lot of times it isn't as good, but we have probably the best sound system, gratefully for someone's wonderful donation that came in to support having that. And we started live streaming a long time before other churches started live streaming. So we've gone through a series of AV people, but Evan and Ian are the constant, as is Mike Carland. And we're grateful for them, grateful for them. If you'll hold your gift in your hand, if you came prepared to put in something in the basket this morning, please hold it in your hand and repeat the affirmation on the screen. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Now sing with me now. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So if you'll go within for just a moment and know that the gifts that have been received today, those that have come through the mail or Zelle or PayPal, they are gratefully received at our center. We know that we are an abundant and prosperous center financially, and we are an abundant and prosperous center for the joy and the celebration of the people who attend here. And so we give great thanks that this center is a super center. It is a continuing effort that moves on and on and on, despite the departure of its previous ministers. And so we know unequivocally this morning that as we give, so do we receive, as Ernest Holmes said in one of our Wednesday night discussions a while back, that it isn't about giving to get. It is about giving to receive, not from the same source, but perhaps not from the same avenue, but perhaps through a different idea whose time has come, knowing that there is always something expected and unexpected in the law of giving and receiving. Tithing is just one way in which we demonstrate that. It is what we give to the level of our own consciousness, knowing that it is there for the continuation of this center, to pay the bills, to be here in this community in a grand and glorious way. And so I'm grateful for everything that has been given today, including the messages, including the efforts on behalf of our AV team, including our beautiful Teresa James, and including each and every person here in the seats and those on the live stream today. I am grateful, knowing God is in the mix, all is well, as we say together, and so it is. So our discussion groups on Wednesday night, they range from 10 to sometimes as many as 15 people, although that hasn't been evident lately. But we have some rousing discussions, and sometimes questions get answered that we're afraid to ask in a larger class situation. So join us, and we would gladly accept your presence here, because the energy of the room changes the more people that are here. And so Wayne, if you'll come up and give us a closing treatment, we'll let these people go home.
and invite you to close your eyes. Feel the seat that you're sitting on. Feel your feet on the ground. Know that as you become aware of your surrounding, being conscious of where you're sitting, being conscious of your feet on the ground, you're always supported. You're always held in that place of love, light, and know that God and you are one. That with God, all is possible. Your life is abundant. Your health is abundant. Everything you can imagine, say yes. And I give thanks for this service. I give thanks for each person here and our support team. I give thanks to those online. And I give thanks for peace, joy, and harmony. And knowing these words have power, I release it to the law, knowing it is complete and done. And together we say, and so it is.
All right. You want to join in circle and sing the peace song with me?
We